So Chrissy Teigen, who I'm not terribly impressed with, she seems gross to me. She said some shit about ketamine as a medical therapy, and I thought, you know what? I should talk about that. I have talked about it in various places, but I don't think I've done a video on it. They right now ketamine is basically, whether it's legitimate or not, essentially touted like snake oil. You only have to have a nursing degree or even a nursing assistant degree. I don't know what the technical term offhand is to administer it. So even chiropractors can administer ketamine, which is wild, and at least in Iowa. And ketamine has no limitations on how or why they're administering it. So what happened was there were two places near me that would do it. The one place literally had so much trouble calling me back, it was insane. And they did not instill confidence. Never mind, I'd just be in a cubicle, which I wasn't wild about. But I'd heard it was so bad for like when you're done. I was like, well, being 30 minutes away is way better than the other option, which was an hour and a half away, Iowa City. And Iowa City is probably where you're going to find the most qualified doctors in Iowa, next to Des Moines. So I found some place there. Seemed legit. Reviews weren't too bad. Not a lot of reviews. It was pretty new. Flag number one. But they answered the questions right. They had a private room. They tried to help you book like a hotel for having it done, but the hotels in Iowa, well, in Iowa City, are nasty ass places. Even the fancy ones get bed bugs like all the time. And the one they had an agreement with literally couldn't call me back to confirm you had to physically call. It was a Radisson, I remember. By the way, within 3 months of me having ketamine done, they started tearing that down. So this was about 2 years ago, and I remember that because it was right before I took Fairbanks, the cat I saved. He was a stray to the animal shelter, and I remember because there were two things I could remember while high as a kite on ketamine. I was like, did I feed Fairbanks? Do I have cats? Cats are safe. I arranged for Fairbanks to be fed. Okay, float off again. That was about the only good thing came of it. Oh my god. Okay, so like all medicines, never mind medicines that need to be administered, there's, of course, heavily varying instances here. So, for what it's worth, my poor mother offered to pay for it because it helped sister number 3 with her chronic depression. And she was so wowed by that, she suddenly wanted us all to have it, even though only sister number 3 has chronic depression. I mean, the rest of us have a lot of shit too. It's just not chronic depression. And they're not mental issues that can be solved by a medicine like that, like ADHD, which I did not yet know I had, but I suspected as much. We all got a ton of anxiety, but that's not really ketamine. And my poor mother kept going, well, if you don't think it'll help your condition, why do you want it then? Because I kept hearing it touted for fibromyalgia. And fibromyalgia, this goes well beyond Iowa because I did a lot of research into it. They recommend a 4-hour treatment for issues like fibromyalgia. That's a more extreme version than the chronic depression people get. They get about 30 minutes. So there was one part. Two, even if you get 30 minutes, according to my sisters, they all felt very weak and tired after having the 30 minutes. Me, my grandmother thought I was dead. You think I'm white now? Apparently, I was 5 shades whiter and looked dead. It was awful. Okay, so the actual ketamine part, like being under it, all my sisters don't like it and they didn't like it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I had a good playlist I have for like relaxing, and it's a lot of old music that's just kind of soft and nice, but it's kind of all over. So when I was high as shit on ketamine, I was literally traveling with those stories. The first one was like 1929 Southern Charm. Yes, I guess that implies racism. I actually thought that while I was under. I'm like, where's the racism? But I was like at the ball dancing. Then it went to like I had a South Korean song on there by Freezy Bone, and I could see these lilies jumping to the beat, and it was really awesome. And then there was some other song a little more fast paced, some language I don't recall. And then I was flying over Chicago because I was going to be going for the first time soon. And it just kept on like this. And I had a wonderful time, except for briefly coming down every now and then. And I'd feel kind of sickly. And the only thing I could remember is I had cats, which is really sad, but true. So what the bad part was the action. Oh, I should add one of the finales to it. After I was flying in the clouds, I all of a sudden, and this is probably at the point I started choking. I'll get to that in a second. And I literally became two-dimensional. I was like line segments against a blank white wall, and they were like blue and red, and they were in tune to the beat of whatever song it was. And it was a little scary, but I could feel myself breathing. I was like, okay, this is just what we are in the essence. Now, of course, that's high as shit talking, so I don't know. When I came down, okay, they said you can't eat and drink 4 hours before it begins. Well, we had to be there at like noon, and I don't wake up terribly early to begin with, but all my medicines say I have to eat. I told them this. They didn't give me much direction on it, and by the time I called to officially book it, they didn't say anything. So I thought, well, I'm going to get real sick chugging Monster energy drinks so I can drive there because my grandmother was gonna come and drive me back, but she's scared of driving in the city, so I had to do the first round. And also, she drives 60 miles an hour if it's her. Anyways, so so I had a very small bowl of cereal and like two Monster energy drinks. I guess correction. I should say on the drinking, the rule is you're not supposed to drink within an hour of it, if I remember correctly. But that's less an issue than the eating. Well, I literally had just hit the 4 hour mark because it was 8 a.m. and it was going to take 2 hours to get there. So I thought I'd be okay. Well, apparently no. And I still blame them for this. Because, like I said, according to the guidance, I should have been alright. Well, I apparently vomited all over myself. They did not warn me this could happen or that I should bring a change of clothes, which was fun because I'm fatter than most of the staff was, and they had to scrounge up something to put me in, and they were cutting pants so they'd fit me in. They seen everything. Everything. And then I was half dead. I mean, I think I would have felt this way regardless of the food thing. And every drive home, every bump, everything. I think according to Grandma, I blacked out numerous times, but every now and then I'd come to and I could feel every jostle. She'd be going slow as shit, and I'd be like, Grandma, speed up. She's like, it's Cedar Rapids with the cameras. I said, you're in my car. Go fast. I don't care. Those aren't real tickets. And she finally did. Oh, man.